we're going to work on the correct grip, aim, setup, and ball position. And when you learn these basic fundamentals, and by the way, they don't take a lot of skill, just attention to detail, after you learn how to do these things correctly, you're going to get good feedback. When you hit a good golf shot, you're going to get a good result. When you hit a bad shot, you'll get a bad result. But we've got to get these things worked out to play good golf, so we may as well learn them in the beginning, and this is going to be a way to help you minimize some of the frustration on your road to better golf. Okay, here we go, starting off with a grip. And as you can see here, I'm wearing my glove on my left hand. We're going to call this my top hand. As I put my top hand on the grip, I can look down and I can count and see from my playing position 1, 2, almost 3 complete knuckles on this top hand. And I can also see that this V here between my thumb and my forefinger points back at my right shoulder, at my back shoulder. Most people, when they grip, they grip the club very weak, where they put their hand on so that the back of their hand points straight down on a line parallel to the target. We don't want that. That's going to cause slices. We don't want slices. The more I rotate the top hand this way, this is going to help me draw the ball. So once again, this V goes at my right shoulder. Now my bottom hand, or my right hand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the club up in front of me, and I'm going to put my hand up there so that my palm is pointing right down at my target. Then I'm going to slide this right hand up the grip. You can go ahead and do this as you watch. When I get down here to the bottom, I can just leave all my fingers on the grip just like this, or I can overlap my pinky here, or I can interlock my fingers. Okay, so for now I'll go with that interlock. Then I'm going to put this club down. So something we got to watch out for is we have to make sure we maintain this position of our top hand. We don't want to go getting it weaker over here. So I'm going to maintain that V pointing at my back shoulder, slide that top hand down again, doing my interlock, putting the club down behind the ball. Now one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just press the shaft forward a little bit so that the butt end of the club points up here at about my front belt loop. All right, so that's how you want to grip the club for success. One quick little thing once again, watch out that you don't end up in a weak position. That's going to make you slice it. V towards that back shoulder, the bottom hand, that palm matches up with the target. Now let's work on our aim, or our alignment. So in order to get our alignment right, we're going to need a little bit of help. Our eyes just don't work very well looking at a target from the side here. So we've got to figure out how to get alignment, and how to get good alignment, excuse me, and then how to have a system so that we can learn that alignment and have consistent good aim and alignment all the time. We're going to use a couple of extra golf clubs that we have in our bag. So I'm grabbing a couple of my longer irons, my 4-iron and my 5-iron here. And I'm going to use these to help me out. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get right back behind my golf ball here. And I'm going to pick out an alignment point. I'm actually going to go right over this little white practice flag here. I'm going to go right over that white flag. And I'm going to put this stick on the ground, pointing right at that white flag. Then I'm going to step back about 5 paces to make sure that I've got good alignment, and I'm going to actually straddle that target line with both feet here so I can look straight down that line. This is super important. Then what I'll do is I'll come around to the side. I'll place my other iron on the ground here, parallel to that first one. Because not only do I want to have my club face lined up properly, I want my body lined up properly. I'm going to get back here. Okay, good, they're both parallel. Now I'm going to grab my other club, my 7-iron that I'm going to be practicing with. I'm going to go through my short routine to get a good sense of where I'm going here. And I'm going to practice hitting shots every single time, my club face pointing straight at the end of that butt end of that grip, and I can look down and see that both of my feet are the same distance from the shaft on the ground. So there we go. So now I've got a really good sense of alignment. In every single practice ball that I hit today, I'm going to make sure I use these sticks, and I can look up at that white flag and know exactly how it feels to have good alignment. And the more I practice this, the better I'm going to get. Okay, so now I'm feeling good. I'm halfway there. I've got a really good grip on the club when I set up. I know what my aim is going to be, what my alignment will be like. Now let's make sure our posture is correct. Now this is something that's actually pretty straightforward. It really helps though to practice actually some of this in the house, in front of a mirror, or like a sliding glass door or something like that. I want to make sure that when I bend to the ball, I'm bending from my hips, not bending from my back. This is going to give me all kinds of problems. So to ensure that I do this correctly, because as you continue in golf you'll learn, we don't always do what we think we're doing, I'm going to use a club and I'm going to put it behind my back here. And as this club goes behind my back, I'm going to hold the grip end right on my tailbone, and then the other end up here I'm going to be able to lift my head back on the shaft. So now this is, I know I'm in a neutral spine angle. I've got really good posture right now. So I'm now going to go ahead and bend from the hips. If I stop bending from the hips and I start bending from my back, which would be an error by the way, I'm going to come off of that shaft. So I'm going to bend from the hips. I'm going to have a slight amount of knee flex and let my right arm here, my free arm, just hang kind of from my shoulders. Now I'll take my head off of that shaft and I'm just going to let my left hand meet up with my right hand, really taking care not to move a whole heck of a lot. So when I set up here, what I'm looking for, and I would like to look back in a mirror if I could, I'm looking for really good posture, nice neutral spine angle. I want the butt end of this club to be pointing up at my belt line here, and I want to have my hands hanging straight down below my shoulders. I need to have my weight positioned evenly on my feet, not back here on my heels, and not way up here on my toes. So once I get those things squared away, I'm going to go ahead and practice, and I'm going to hit balls this way. Practice doing this posture routine every time that you hit balls for 5 or 10 minutes, and just do this, once every couple of days, and pretty soon you're going to get the feel for how to bend from the hips rather than bending from the spine. And just like everything else, these little simple fundamentals, pay attention to them and you're just going to get better and better. The more balls you hit, the better you're going to get. Okay, and the last of our pre-swing fundamentals is going to be ball position. So as you can see, I've got my sticks already set up here, my golf clubs set up for my alignment. One thing I want to do now is I want to make sure that my ball is positioned properly. I want to have my ball positioned with my shorter clubs about in the middle of my stance, meaning about the equidistant between my 2 feet. As my clubs get longer, think of it this way. I'm going to just take my back foot and move it a little bit further back. And what that does is that essentially moves the ball position more forward in my stance. I would never really have my feet this wide. This is just kind of to demonstrate. So this is a 7-iron, and I'm going to set up with that ball a little teeny bit forward in my stance, but I need some sort of a feedback device to keep me on track to make sure I'm consistently doing this the right way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another club out of my golf bag. So it's amazing how handy the things that you have with you all the time when you play can make really great training aids. So I'm putting this shaft on the ground, and I'm just putting it straight down perpendicular to my alignment stick that's at my feet. Make sure we get 2 90-degree angles going on there. And so now when I set up, I can just look right down and say, okay, this shaft here is just a little teeny bit farther forward than the middle of my stance, and that's going to be about perfect ball position for me to hit my 7-iron. As the clubs get longer again, the ball position gets farther forward. One key thing to note, we don't ever want to play normal shots with the ball position back of center. So even when you're hitting your sand wedge or your lob wedge, unless it's some sort of a specialty punch shot, play that ball about the middle of the stance. So there you have it. Grip, aim, setup, ball position. It doesn't take a lot of skill, it just takes attention to detail and a little bit of practice.